Hello, welcome to lesson 12.4 Shapes in Computer Science 112, Computational Thinking with the University of Idaho. Today we're going to be talking about different shapes. We actually don't have a warm-up today, at least not through this. You may, with your teacher, be sure to check in with them. Processing has several different shapes that we can make that are inherently built into it. They have ellipses, which we could make into circles or ovals. We have rectangles, which could make our squares and our rectangles. We have triangles. We have quadrilateral features built in already. It also gives you an ability to be creative and draw your own shapes. I've talked about this kind of before on how processing is actually designed more to be like a more artistic kind of coding ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a function called the shape function format, and we're going to work through a couple of examples to do that. In the end, you're going to be writing a program to create your own custom drawing. So where we kind of start off with is custom shapes. Custom shapes can be drawn using this specific format. We begin a shape, and it gives the shape function. We are able to start defining locations where to put it. We tell it the different vertexes. Vertexes are the locations where we kind of put the dot that two lines draw to. And you can continuously run these vertexes all the way as far as you want to. And then at the end you have two options. The first option is to use end shape. And what that does is it ends the shape at that location. Fine, or you can use this phrase, end shape close, and it draws a final line back to your first vertex point. You can almost imagine from this example right here of that we have a triangle. So if I do this way with just using this end shape, I draw a line from the first point to the second point to the third point, and then I leave it and I don't draw a line back. If I use the close, I would actually draw a line back to the triangle. So it's one thing to say it. Let's try this. So let's make something with the size of 400. Let's make it blue. Now we use that term begin shape, and begin shape does as it sounds. It starts the shape that we're drawing. Personally, I like to tab this in one space just so that then I can be like, okay, yeah, this is something that's a part of this begin shape. It doesn't actually automatically do it like it does some other things. So let's do, I don't want that space there, 50, 350. Now the nice thing is because I tabbed it in, it's going to keep tabbing it in for me. 50, 150, 250. Now we're going to do two different types. So I'm going to first start with end shape. And I'm actually going to back this up just a little bit. And this is going to make it so that it doesn't draw a final line back. So, and it's a little bit hard to see, but if you look right here, there's a little tiny black kind of spot where we first start off. And actually, I guess we actually start over here. So we go up, we go up, we go down, we go down. So we kind of drew this like barn. Now, let's try if we put this here. You can see this black line kind of went back into it, and it almost kind of makes it a little bit nicer. Feel free if you need to kind of pause this and jump back and forth. Or you can try it yourself and just remove that close. We didn't do that. If you're finding it hard to see, you can actually change that stroke weight and make it 6 or something very thick, and you'll actually be able to see it a lot better. Let's add a new level to this. Let's add something a little bit different. Let's actually add a door. So we're going to make a little house with this. We don't want it to be blue, otherwise we won't really tell it out. So I'm going to say a fill, and let's make it a white door. Why? Because that's just easy to type in. And let's draw a rectangle that's 180. Starts at upper left is 180, 250, and let's make it 40 wide and 100 across, because, or 100 down, because most doors are taller than they are wide. And let's run that. And we're starting to get our kind of house. You can imagine we can put a couple little windows right there and sit good. Let's add a couple windows. Okay, let's draw a couple windows. Around this, I'm not a huge fan. I kind of like these to be a little more centered, or more like equal from each other and equal distance from the sides. So looking at this, we say, okay, I want to move this window in a little bit. And right here is actually a pretty good little like thing on coding as you go, or not coding, sorry, commenting as you go. The reason why is if I tell you, okay, I want you to grab this one, it's kind of hard to look at this code and just be like, oh yeah, I know which one that is. And so what the best kind of practice would be, if I comment this out, I check and I say, okay, this is going to be my left window, and this one then must be my, I can actually comment this out to double check and make sure I'm not crazy, that's going to be my right window. And with that, I can say, all right, let's change this up a little bit. Let's go to, let's see, 200 and see what that looks like. Nope, too far. Let's see, let's see what 280 looks like, but not far enough. So you can kind of play with this, see where you want it. Get in there. Let's try 60. I think that might be my magic number. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay. So in labeling this, right here, whenever we're first looking at it, you might have been like, oh, it's easy to tell what that is. But now imagine that we start adding more and more details. We add some trees, we add some cars, we add some, like, a whole bunch of things. It'd be really easy to lose that in this code of going like, okay, where's the right window? I actually need it to move somewhere else, or I want to duplicate it. So that's kind of the big idea with a lot of commenting. So this one's actually pretty short. The reason why is we want to give you a bunch of time to kind of play with this and be able to make your own creation. Using that shape function does take a lot more time than normal, or when I say normal, I mean a lot more time than usual, because you have to tell it all those different vertexes. So your assignment is to create a program that draws a shape of at least 4 different elements. You can make a window if you want to, or if you make a window, that'd be considered one element. Have at least 2 different types of colors. Do different types of strokes. Sometimes a black makes sense, sometimes not. Try and make it into one overall design theme. So maybe make it a setting of a house. Try and do something kind of original. Make it you. As always, and as I just kind of showed, make sure you comment on all sections of your code. That way it's easy to tell, oh, I want to move this thing somewhere else. Have a lot of fun with this. Enjoy it. Um, Once you finish, make sure your name is commented on it. Submit the program as zip folder. If you forget how to make this into a zip folder, check out the video how to make processing into a zipped folder. And as always, happy coding.